Hey guys, so continuing the Oscar season coverage, today's category that I'm going to be doing a deep dive on is Best Supporting Actress. Now that it's official that Lily Gladstone is going to be campaigned for leading actress, it's made the race for Best Supporting Actress wide open. A lot of us pundits were tipping that Lily Gladstone would be a dominant force in the Supporting Actress category this year for her beautifully understated performance in Killers of the Flower Moon, potentially becoming the first ever Native American woman to win in that category. She's arguably facing much stiffer competition in Best Actress. I'm not saying that she can't win in Best Actress, but it's going to certainly be a steeper climb for her in order to win there. But mad respect to her. Like, if she wants to go lead actress, then I respect that. Like, she's blessed with a part where there's ample room for her to be considered both a lead and a supporting character. Like, not all roles have that flexibility. I don't think there's any category fraud at play here. Supporting felt like the easier path to victory for her, but she's decided to take the more challenging path. There are several reasons why she might have done this. I've discussed this in my Lily Gladstone discussion video. Anyway, the state of the Best Supporting Actress race this year kind of echoes where the race was at this time last year, with Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans. Like, the first reactions to The Fabelmans, she was hotly tipped as the early frontrunner for Best Supporting Actress, but then she decided to campaign for lead actress, leaving it open to numerous other contenders like Kerry Condon, Angela Bassett, Hong Chow, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Stephanie Hsu to battle it out, with industry fave and legendary scream queen Jamie Lee Curtis finding an unexpected pathway to victory for her howlingly funny performance as Deirdre Beaudeirdre in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yes, that's right. We're living in this branch of the multiverse where Jamie Lee Curtis won her first Oscar for playing Deirdre Beaudeirdre. God, what a time to be alive, eh? But if Jamie Lee Curtis's win proves anything, it's that anything can happen. Like, this time last year, I wasn't taking Jamie Lee Curtis seriously to win. Heck, I don't think I even had her in my 5 at this point. But that's the beautiful thing about award season. The race can take shape in unexpected ways that even the most seasoned of awards pundits can't see coming. Narrative, momentum, timing, precursor wins, Academy politics, it all comes into play. You never know who's going to have unexpected support, the best team, the best strategy. So don't be surprised if the 5 that I'm predicting in this video doesn't match up when the nominees are announced next year. It would be kind of boring if we knew who all the nominees and even the winner was at this point. Like, that's why it's called a race, okay? And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But I repeat, Best Supporting Actress is wide open. And it's going to be an interesting year for all the acting categories this year because of the SAG AFTRA strikes, which are still in effect. As of recording this video, the WGA have reached an agreement, but SAG AFTRA are still on strike. And if it continues to go on, it could have a knock-on effect with award season. Once the SAG strike is over, it will be easier for actors to campaign and promote their work. When the prospective nominees' films were first seen at places like Venice, TIFF, and Telluride, etc., and the actors couldn't attend the festivals to promote their projects because of the SAG strikes, they weren't really able to fully capitalize on the initial buzz, hype, and excitement surrounding their initial release. So could that have affected some prospective nominees' chances further down the line? It could very well be. Getting a good start out of the gate can be very beneficial. So when the SAG strikes do come to an end, prospective nominees will be trying to play catch-up, making up for lost time. So yeah, like all the acting categories, we've yet to see them take shape. We've got an idea of who the players are, but it'll become solidified when we start seeing some winners in the critics groups, as well as the first precursor nominations. So yeah, we still have a long way to go. This is just how I feel about the Best Supporting Actress race right now at the end of October. It will very likely change. And a reminder, I haven't seen all the prospective performances for Best Supporting Actress yet, okay? There's still a few I haven't seen. I'm looking at you, Colour Purple. So yeah, do keep that in mind, okay? Because it's much easier for me to pop a performance into my predictions, which I've actually seen and I know is good, over one where there's a lot of like early buzz for it and speculation surrounding it, but no one's actually seen it yet. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, if you guys have any requests for any other categories you want to see me do a deep dive discussion video on, please let me know in the comment section down below. If there's enough interest in a particular category, I will oblige. All right then, so who are our Best Supporting Actress contenders as of late October? Well, I think we should start by addressing the rumors surrounding Carey Mulligan. A few weeks ago, Clayton Davies from Variety posted an article saying why Carey Mulligan should switch from lead actress to supporting. While there's been no official announcement yet from Netflix or Carey Mulligan about whether she'll go for lead or supporting yet, The very notion of this has ruffled a lot of feathers on film Twitter, and I can understand why. If Carey Mulligan were to be campaigned for supporting, then this would be the second consecutive year where she was campaigned for supporting actress when many people viewed her performance to be a co-lead. Last year it was for She Said, and Mulligan managed to secure herself nominations at both Golden Globes and BAFTA for supporting actress. Despite being one of the two lead journalists who were responsible for the uncovering of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. Carey Mulligan was even top billed on the marketing, even though she wasn't even first alphabetically with her co-lead played by Zoe Kazan. So yeah, the decision to go supporting was questionable there. But what about Maestro? Is she a co-lead with Bradley Cooper, or is there enough ambiguity for her to justify going supporting? Now that I've seen the film, there is an argument to be made that she is kind of like Lily Gladstone, okay? There's an argument that she is both a lead and a supporting role. The problem is, if they do want to campaign Carey Mulligan for supporting, then Netflix have made a huge cock-up with the early marketing for this film, because the first poster and trailer for this film heavily emphasized that she was the focal character in this film. She was top billed in both the trailer and the poster, and she was even the focal image of the first poster for Maestro, heavily implying that she was a lead, if not a co-lead. Okay, the die had been cast at that point, okay? The idea of her being a lead had been sold to us. So if Netflix backpedal now and try to campaign her as supporting, then that's going to be seen as a strategic move to try and get Mulligan the win. She probably would have had an easier chance of winning in supporting, but it would have been even easier if she wasn't top billed in the marketing. It almost comes across as desperate to switch categories. The difference between Lily Gladstone and Carey Mulligan is Gladstone isn't making it any easier on herself to go in the leading category, whereas it could be viewed as Carey Mulligan taking the easier path if she goes supporting, which may read as being a little bit too keen to win. Where the Oscars, you want to be interested in winning, but you don't want to come across as overly keen, because it's off-putting to voters. Especially given that she's already had this changing lanes narrative just last year for She Said. It just adds more fuel to the fire that she might win an Oscar a little too badly. But should it even matter if she does switch to supporting, okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Why wouldn't you want to give yourself the best chance of winning? Like I said before, despite the marketing for this film, there is an argument to be made that Mulligan can be viewed as a supporting character. Yes, she's one half of the central love story, and she certainly is the most prominent female character in this film. However, she is still the primary female character to the titular Maestro. Okay, the film's title implies that this is Leonard Bernstein's story. And while she played a big and pivotal role in his life, this is still his life, his story. The primary focus is on him. Also, Mulligan isn't featured as prominently in the first half of the film as much as she is the second half. She really flourishes in the second half of this film. It's where the more heartbreaking, dramatic stuff takes place, with the marital distress, the medical issues, and the reconciliation with Leonard. If Maestro is a film of two halves, then Leonard is the first half and Felicia is the second. But again, that just adds to the whole idea that this is a joint leadership film. Would I be mad if she went supporting? I don't think mad is the right word. Maybe frustrated for her, because really Netflix have potentially screwed her over with the marketing for this film by putting such emphasis on her being the lead character. I do think you can justify her going supporting. I personally think she's more of a co-lead. I honestly think that if Netflix had just billed her second in the marketing, like if they'd actually just gone alphabetical and put Bradley Cooper, the Maestro, first and then Carey Mulligan second, then they would have had more wiggle room if they wanted to switch up, the campaign for her. Having her name second after Bradley Cooper makes so much more sense, because it implies that she is supporting the Maestro character. But yeah, Netflix kind of shot themselves in the foot from the get-go by emphasizing that Carey Mulligan was the focal character. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that it's gotten to that point now where if they do decide to switch Carey Mulligan to supporting actress, then it's just gonna read as them trying to be tactical and get her the win wherever she has the best chance of winning. And that's probably bound to hurt her a little bit because some voters might view that as her trying a little too hard to win. But who knows? We shall see, okay? Like, at this moment, it's still just speculation because we still don't know for sure whether she's going to be campaigning for lead or supporting. But yeah, what makes the Carey Mulligan discourse even more funny is the fact that we actually do have another outstanding Carey Mulligan performance this year, which feels very legitimately like a supporting role, and that's for her hilarious turn as Pamela in Saltburn. Honestly, it could be the funniest performance I've ever seen from Carey Mulligan, but would she get nominated for this role? I'd love to entertain the idea of it, but I think she is a little outshone by her co-star, Rosamund Pike. Yeah, she just has a bit more screen time and the role's just a little bit juicier. So yeah, I think Rosamund Pike's got a bit more of an edge on Mulligan for Saltburn, but we'll talk about Pike a little bit more later in the video. But yeah, if Mulligan were to get a supporting actress nomination for Saltburn, that would be a delightful surprise. But what do you guys think of the Carey Mulligan situation? Should she go lead? Should she go supporting? How would you feel if she were to go supporting? Whatever you have to say, let me know in the comment section down below. All right then, who else do we have? Oh yes, Emily Blunt. Okay, Emily Blunt is one of those actresses where it's baffling to learn that she has never had a single Academy Award nomination, despite consistently great work in films like Sicario, The Devil Wears Prada, A Quiet Place, Mary Poppins Returns, and The Girl on the Train. Could she land her first ever Oscar nomination for playing the wife role of Kitty Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer? I'll be honest, when I first watched Oppenheimer, I wasn't like immediately sold on Blunter's getting the nomination, but given just how well Oppenheimer has done and the fact that supporting actress is wide open, I could see it happening for her. This is going to be a bit of a controversial statement because I know there's a lot of love out there for Emily Blunt, but in my humble opinion, this doesn't feel like the role that Emily Blunt should win her first Oscar for. And that's just because the Academy have failed to nominate her for much better work that she's done prior to Oppenheimer. Like, don't get me wrong, I love her in Oppenheimer, but I've seen her do much better work than this. But I would be happy to see her get her first long overdue Oscar nomination for Oppenheimer. And even though this isn't the role that I personally wouldn't want to see Emily Blunt win her first Oscar for, I do see a pathway for her to potentially win with this role. Sometimes with the Oscars, there's this occurrence that happens with particular actors where they go decades without getting any Academy Award nominations, but then they land a role in one movie that really resonates with the Academy, and then they finally get their first Oscar nomination, and then they win. It's like they collectively all wake up and go, oh, how have we never acknowledged you before? Think like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, or Sam Rockwell in Three Billboards, or even last year with Jamie Lee Curtis in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like Emily Blunt, they've been doing consistently good work for many years, but not getting any recognition from the Academy. So who knows? She is established enough, she has done enough good work. Maybe the popularity of Oppenheimer, coupled with all the good favor that she's earned over the years, maybe that's enough to take her all the way to the podium. She's certainly got the Oscar clip moment with the scene between her and Jason Clarke, or even the scene in the snow where she finds out about her husband's infidelity. Granted, it is still a role where she's relegated to the wife of a great man, but there was a fair amount for her to work with here. Woo, sorry. Pause for dramatic effect and sneeze. Yeah, you really don't want to sneeze when you got a full mug of tea in your hand. But like I was saying, it is a versatile performance because she gets to be fragile in one scene and then fierce in the next. But yeah, if she does get the nomination for Oppenheimer, I will be thrilled that I can finally say Academy Award nominee Emily Blunt, alright? It's about time. It needs to happen, okay? It's going to happen, alright? It's inevitable. But we've reached a point in Emily Blunt's career where I have to ask myself, what more does she possibly need to do in order to get her first Oscar nomination? Another person that I would personally love to see get the first ever Oscar nomination is America Ferrera for her performance as Gloria in Barbie. As a huge Ugly Betty and Superstore fan, I would just love to have the title of Academy Award nominee in front of America Ferrera's name. And there is certainly a possibility that it could happen, okay? She does get the Impossible to Be a Woman monologue scene. It's one of the standout moments of the whole film. She absolutely crushes it. But the question I keep asking myself regarding America Ferrera's potential Oscar nomination is Is it enough? Another actress I would love to see get her first ever Oscar nomination is Claire Foy for her beautiful turn as the mum in Andrew Higgs' All of Us Strangers. Claire Foy has had some unfortunate luck with the Oscars, okay? She was snubbed for First Man, and she was completely shut out of awards season despite having a very baity role last year in Women Talking, but it's third time the charm for Claire Foy. I would love to see it happen. My big concern with Claire Foy is that All of Us Strangers could potentially struggle to get traction with the Academy. And Claire Foy's performance is very gentle, okay? It doesn't really grab your attention, but it is very impactful. I thought she was wonderful in this film, and at this point she kind of feels like a wishful thinking type of pick. Lily James is getting a bit of buzz for her performance in The Iron Claw, which I haven't seen yet, but it's one I'm keeping an eye out for. Sandra Hüller is having an amazing year with two films that potentially could both show up in Best Picture, Anatomy of a Fall and The Zone of Interest. Could we see a repeat of a double nomination for the same actress like we did back in 2019 for Scarlett Johansson with Marriage Story and Jojo Rabbit? Could Sandra Hüller do the same with her two movies? It could happen because, like I said, both those films are in the running to make it into Best Picture. Although I do feel when I compare Sandra Hüller's two performances in these films, her turn as Sandra in Anatomy of a Fall was more of a showstopper of her skills and talents. So I actually think she's more likely to get the nomination for Best Actress than she is for Best Supporting Actress, or both. There's also Divine Joy Randolph, who is divine in The Holdovers. I bloody love that film. She's been on the rise for a few years, what with Dolomite Is My Name, Only Murders in the Building, The Lost City, and I believe she's also in Rustin, which is getting a bit of Best Actor buzz for its star Coleman Domingo, which I still haven't seen. She is absolutely wonderful in The Holdovers. I can't wait for more people to see this film. She really is the heart and soul of this film because her character Mary has her own arc. She's going on a journey of grief, but she's also the voice of reason to the other two central characters played by Paul Giamatti and Dominic Sessa. It truly is a superb supporting role, but one with more emotional weight than you might think. I feel very confident about Divine Joy Randolph getting into this category. In fact, I would say that she is a strong contender, not only for the nomination, but potentially for the win as well. Poor Things is getting a lot of acting buzz for its stars, Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe, but there's one other minor supporting role which I found just as enchanting, and that's the role that Kathryn Hunter plays of Swiney, the brothel owner in Paris. She's just not going to get as much discussion as the co-stars I just mentioned, but I do think she was wonderful in this film. I have a feeling she might surprise us at BAFTA, but Oscars, not so much. But it would be cool to see her get her first ever Oscar nomination. She actually came fairly close a few years ago when she played the three witches in The Tragedy of Macbeth. You never know, it could happen. I don't think it will happen, but it's fun to entertain the idea of it happening. I've been talking a lot about potential first-time nominees, but what about the women who could be expecting their second, third, fourth, or in the case of Julianne Moore, their sixth nomination? That's right, I do think Julianne Moore is in the conversation for performance in Todd Haynes' May December. It may be a bit campy with dialogue like, I don't think we have enough hot dogs, as well as Julianne's choice to have the character have a lisp, but regardless, it's still a very entertaining and memorable performance. I am really curious to find out how May December plays over awards season. I think because it's such a campy flick, awards pundits don't really know how it's gonna play. It's a challenging one to read. I'm waiting to see if it's a film that people have embraced for all of its absurdity, or if they're just gonna view it as fun but disposable trash. To be fair, that is what the film is going for. It's supposed to be a little bit trashy, but it is impeccably well executed trash. It's hard to know just yet because it rides such a fine line, but from what I've experienced, most people seem to really like this film. So while I haven't seen a lot of pundits putting Natalie Portman or Julianne Moore in their predictions yet, there is every chance that if May December is celebrated, that Portman and Julianne Moore could become main staples of the awards season in both the lead and supporting actress categories. They're two beloved previous winners in a very entertaining film, with performances that you could technically classify as big, showy performances because of how melodramatic the film is. They're kind of exaggerated and heightened a little bit, but that's kind of the point. It's what the movie's going for. Right behind Julianne Moore, we have Penélope Cruz and Jodie Foster, each looking to get their fifth nomination. For Penélope Cruz, she's looking to get in for performance as Laura Ferrari in Michael Mann's Ferrari. The film itself has had a lukewarm reception, but in the reviews for Ferrari, Penélope Cruz was always singled out as a highlight. She manages to steal the focus of the central character, played by Adam Driver. It's a small but but certainly fierce part. I could see Penélope Cruz showing up here. She usually does have good support from like international Oscar voters. The main thing that's really hurting Penélope Cruz's chances though is that people are really forgetting about Ferrera quite quickly. Jodie Foster hasn't had a nomination since 1995 for Nell. The two-time Best Actress winner could be seen as someone who is overdue for another nomination, kind of like Tom Hanks was a few years ago when he had an almost 20-year gap between his nomination for Castaway and his most recent one for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Jodie Foster's nomination gap is even longer. It's been 28 years for her. And she's got herself a substantial supporting part in the inspirational biopic Nyad. She almost has as much screen time as Annette Bening. Is there an argument to be made that she might be a co-lead? I don't actually think so, because for one, she's not the titular character, but also her character literally and figuratively supports the main character by being her swim coach, okay? She is literally a supporting character, or supportive character, I should say. Nyad is a bit like Ferrari though. The reviews have been a bit middling, but the performances do stand out. So Jodie Foster could be one to watch out for. And as I mentioned before, Rosamund Pike is certainly a possibility for her deliciously posh and wry performance as Elspeth in Saltburn. She gets some bloody brilliant dialogue in this film, which is both funny and a little bit tragic. I would love to see her get a nomination for this performance, but she doesn't feel like a dead cert to me yet, and I think that's because Saltburn is a very provocative and risque type of movie. I do think it's going to be divisive with audiences. This movie is not going to be for everybody, and because I think it has the potential to be divisive, it's got the capacity to turn some voters off and they might not want to acknowledge the film at all, which means the razor-sharp performances of like Barry Keoghan and Rosamund Pike could fall the wayside. But a Best Supporting Actress nomination for Rosamund Pike would be deserved. Weirdly, I can kind of see her being nominated at SAG, but with the Oscars, I'm not so sure. Juliette Binoche is looking at her third potential Oscar nomination. She actually won in this category back in 1997 for The English Patient, and her last nomination was in 2001 for Chocolat. She delivers a mouth-watering performance in The Taste of Things, which has been very warmly received since it debuted at Cannes. The film has been officially selected as France's submission for the Best International Feature Oscar. Could the renowned French actress also go along with it? And of course, we still have one film waiting in the wings, which has the capacity to throw this whole category into disarray, because we could be looking at two potential Best Supporting Actress nominations from this one film. That's right, I'm talking about The Colour Purple. The anticipation levels are high for Taraji P Henson's performance as Shug Avery. Henson has had one previous Oscar nomination for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and she was of course egregiously snubbed for her amazingly performance in Hidden Figures. We've also got Orange is the New Black star Danielle Brooks playing the character of Sophia, and she makes her presence known in the very first trailer. Just want to say for the record, I have not read the book, I have not seen the Steven Spielberg movie. I know, shocking blind spot on my part. Gonna watch it before I see the new one. And I've also never seen the Broadway musical adaptation either. But from what I've read on the internet, it does seem that the roles of Taraji P Henson and Danielle Brooks are very substantial. And also Danielle Brooks has played this role on Broadway. And this is probably the last big ticket movie that we need to see before awards season is in full swing. The last time that we got a Colour Purple adaptation from Steven Spielberg, it got 11 Oscar nominations and no wins. Is this version gonna have a similar Oscar nomination win for? Let's wait and see. And some other performances which deserve an honourable mention include Viola Davis for Air, Rachel McAdams and Kathy Bates for Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Cara Jane Myers for Killers of the Flower Moon, Issa Rae for American Fiction, which I've still not seen yet, Nishi Nash Betts for Origin, Anne Hathaway for Eileen, and Rachel Howes for Next Girl Wins, which I've also still not seen. Were there any that I missed? Do let me know in the comment section down below. So, who am I predicting then for Best Supporting Actress as of the end of October? Out of all the acting categories, this is the one which I feel the least secure about. Like, I would not be surprised if the 5 nominations that I have right now end up being completely incorrect. Like when the nominations are announced, like I could have one correct prediction here and the other 4 are wrong. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that is the outcome here. Honestly, there are so many ways this category could go. Just look at last year. But as of right now, this is how I'm feeling. So from most likely to least likely, let's start off with number 1. The person who I currently have at number 1, my predicted winner at the moment, is Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. With Lily Gladstone no longer the frontrunner for this category, Divine Joy Randolph is the performance that I've seen which I think has the best chance of getting a nomination, but also potentially winning. I don't think she has like the win in the bag just yet. But I do think there is a path for her to win. She gives a beautifully layered and heartfelt performance as Mary. She's got lots of funny moments and she has plenty of sad moments, okay? It's a very well-rounded performance. Her versatility is on display. The part of Mary is substantial because she does have her own arc, and I'm expecting the holdovers to do quite well for Oscar nominations. I'm predicting Best Actor, Best Original Screenplay, potentially Director, and most importantly, Best Picture. Having a boost from being in a Best Picture nominee is very useful. So yeah, for now, she's at my number 1. At number 2, I have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. It's strange how I can have Emily Blunt so high in my predictions, and yet I still don't feel 100% confident that she's getting in. I don't think she's a lock just yet. I need to see if she places at the precursors. She got her Oscar clip during the deposition scene. She is certainly overdue. Never been nominated before. Like, how? Oppenheimer was a juggernaut at the box office, okay? People have been watching this film. It's gonna get loads of Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, so there's a reasonable chance that Emily Blunt will come along as part of its package. The last 3 slots are where it gets really difficult for me, because I've got like 6 women who I could see easily getting in, but just as easily see them getting snubbed. The factors that usually help guide me when trying to decide is how baity is the performance, and are they in a film which is likely to get into Best Picture. With the supporting categories, you do typically see the more light-hearted or comedic roles getting acknowledged and supporting more so than you would in the lead categories. But if you've got a performance which is both funny and moving, then that's certainly a plus. It's why I need to take America Ferrera seriously, because Barbie is going to be in the Best Picture lineup, and Ferrera does have a performance that is humorous, but also very heartfelt. Part of me sees America Ferrera as this year's Jean Smart in Babylon, where she has the big, juicy monologue scene, but that's kind of all she has, and I'm not sure that's enough to quite get into Best Supporting Actress. I am having a feeling about Jodie Foster for Nyad, mainly because of just how much screen time she has. And she does get to show off her range. Granted, it's not the most emotionally showy performance, but Foster is still very good in it, and the Academy does have a soft spot for biopics. And it's coming up on 30 years since the Academy gave her a nomination, so for now, I'm gonna give her a slot. But I wanna stress this, she is nowhere near close to a lock for me. For slot number 4, I'm gonna go with another great. I'm gonna go with Julianne Moore for May December. The Academy loves Julianne Moore. They love Todd Haynes movies, and guess what? They love Julianne Moore in Todd Haynes movies. While I know May December is a bit of a bizarre film tonally, I haven't really seen a big backlash to it yet. I actually think it's a film that voters might actually really like, and I think it's got potential to show up in a few categories. Julianne Moore isn't as prominent as her co-star Natalie Portman, but she still delivers a very interesting performance with lots of emotional up and down moments. So I'm gonna give Julianne Moore a slot for now. And spot number 5 is always the toughest because I've got like 5 people vying for it, like Danielle Brooks, Taraji P Hesnon, Rosamund Pike, America Ferrera, Claire Foy. Claire Foy is who I want to see in here. But her track record with the Academy has been quite spotty, and for roles that are arguably much more attention-grabbing than what she gives in All of Us Strangers. The fact of the matter is, her performance in All of Us Strangers isn't as baity as First Man or Women Talking, so if she were to show up in Best Supporting Actress, I would be elated because it's not the type of performance that they typically gravitate towards. But it can be done though. Like Paul Mescal's nomination for Best Actor for Aftersun last year proved that there is enough people in the Academy that enjoy softer, gentler, more subtle and nuanced performances, like what Claire Foy delivers in All of Us Strangers. When it comes to The Colour Purple, I haven't seen the movie yet, and the fact that there's 2 potential Best Supporting Actress contenders in this film, in a story I know very little about and I haven't seen the play or seen the previous movie or read the book, makes it even more difficult for me to try and pick one or even 2 of them to put in my predictions. Part of me is kind of anticipating to put at least one of the ladies from The Colour Purple in my supporting actress predictions, my next one, but I don't think it's fair for me to put one of them in over the other at the moment without having seen them. Like, it's really difficult to make that call, and also I can't judge it off the reactions of other people, like on Twitter or anything, because no one has seen this movie yet. So for now, I am not going to include either Danielle Brooks or Taraji P Henson in my predictions, but I am kind of anticipating that 1 or maybe 2 of them will be in a subsequent Best Supporting Actress predictions vid. I really should go with a performance I've actually seen and I know is great, like America Ferrera and Barbie. And again, because I can see Barbie as a Best Picture contender, I could see America Ferrera squeezing in here. But I'm actually going to go with a film which I think has a less good chance of getting into Best Picture than Barbie does, And I'm gonna actually go with Rosamund Pike for her performance as Elspeth in Saltburn. Again, I don't think Saltburn is a Best Picture nominee, but the thing with Saltburn is it is a movie that gets people talking, for good or for bad, okay? So it's gonna be a film that's on people's lips, and yeah, if you're being discussed, that's a good thing, because it just means you're fresh in their minds when people come to make their votes. And even if Saltburn doesn't get the Best Picture nomination, I could see some acting nominations potentially for Barry Keoghan and for Rosamund Pike if enough people really love this movie. So yes, even though I in no way feel confident about putting Rosamund Pike in my 5, she is someone I think is deserving and I would love to see in here. So because it's October and I've got lots of time to change my mind on my predictions, I'm gonna put her in here because I'm kind of manifesting that nomination for her. I want to see her get nominated, and by putting her in my 5 now, I'm kind of hoping that she might somewhere down the line get in. Not expecting her to, but I do think there is a chance she can. So I'm just gonna put that out in the universe now and hope it comes to fruition. So yes, those are my 5 for Best Supporting Actress as of October, guys. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Who are your 5 for Best Supporting Actress at the moment? Do I feel confident about my predictions? Hell no. This is a category where I genuinely feel like my opinion on who's getting in changes from hour to hour. But that's a good thing in my opinion, because it just means that the race is wide open. It makes it a way more exciting race, because it would be so boring if we knew who all the nominees and the eventual winner was this early in the race. I'm just a passionate idiot on the internet having a crack at guessing, and really at the end of the day, that's all it is, a guessing game. But it's a game that I love playing. But again, do let me know your predictions for Best Supporting Actress in the comment section down below. If you've got any more requests for any other categories for me to do a deep dive on, let me know in the comments, alright? If you've enjoyed the video, help me out with a little thumbs up button. For more movie, TV, and Oscars-related content, don't forget to click subscribe, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Harefield, and I'll see you next time.